When Chris Bosh got sick, that changed everything. Chris Bosh believed the Miami Heat could have competed for a championship before he was sidelined with blood clots, and says he wanted to prove that he could win a ring without LeBron. And he's right. They had a stacked team, especially when you lose LeBron James, Luol Deng, Goran Dragic, Chris Bosh, D. Wade, Hassan Whiteside. I think they could have definitely made noise, and I think that people forget that he went down sick because, honestly, guys, I think they could have competed for a championship. Chris Bosh, people forget how good he was, an all-star, an Olympian, especially before he got to Miami. He was leading that Toronto team pretty much by himself. And even when he came to the Miami Heat, yes, was he ball dominant like Dwayne Wade and LeBron James? No, he was willing to take a back seat. But we don't win not one championship without Chris Bosh.
I was in good shape. I mean, me and Pat, we talked about it. We had a squad, man. I felt, not to say that we were going to win it all, but we could have competed for a championship.
Still two Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
Being as competitive as you were, how hard was it coming to the realization, understanding that, 30, 31, you still got another 8, the way you played, probably 10 years left in your career.
Yeah.
And you had to decide, like this health is really going to remove me from the game. Like, how did you come to grips with that?
Time. That's really it. Just time, man. I was so mad and frustrated. All those guys that we were talking about earlier, I wanted to be like them. In that thing, in those guys' 13-year career is kind of like the bottom tier. I wanted to establish myself in the record books. I wanted to establish myself without Bron, to be honest with you. We wanted to win without him, to be honest. Just like he wanted to win without us, but I think it's something to say, Shaq won without Kobe, Kobe won without Shaq, I wanted to put myself in that category and on that pedestal, and I wanted to help D get back to that status as well. And I mean, I really felt really good about our team. We were like in second or third place. We had around All-Star break, we said, okay, we play our cards right. We do what we're supposed to do. We could get it at number 2 seed. Shit, if we get to the Eastern Conference Finals, hey, let's play some ball. I'm not worried about it at all, So we were very, very confident. It just wasn't to be, but I eventually just came to the realization that what else do you want? Don't be greedy. You did everything, bro. I was talking.
According to Miami on SI, Peyton Watson is a name to watch for the Miami Heat. Peyton Watson is just the type of guy that should interest the Miami Heat since he's highly athletic, long, has a heart for defense, and is blossoming on the attack. The biggest thing for me is the Miami Heat need to stay young. I understand Giannis is out there, which we're going to get into, Kawhi, and possibly Donovan Mitchell, and possibly some other high-level role players and stars. I don't really care about the old heads, guys like Kevin Durant. How many times are we going to chase these people every offseason? I would rather keep my young guys, and to be honest with you, I think everything comes down to the draft. If we can get a top 5, top 10 pick, I'm sticking with my young guys. Jaime, Ware, Larson, Yakachonas, Bam, Tyler. I'm sticking with my young guys. But Peyton Watson, he's been phenomenal for the Denver Nuggets. And to be honest, these are the guys that we should be building around. 23-year-old guys with length, athleticism, and versatility. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. I'm definitely cool with staying young. I don't mind missing out on Giannis or Kawhi or Kevin Durant or any of these old heads, especially if we're not their number one option, especially if they're not going to demand the Miami Heat and the Miami Heat only, because we're just wasting time. Barry Jackson just outlined a potential trade package for the Miami Heat for Giannis Antetokounmpo this summer. The Miami Heat would receive Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Milwaukee Bucks would receive Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, 3 first-round picks, 2 pick swaps, and 1 young player, Jaquez or Pelle Larsson, which, why would I have to give up most of my young guys? Because that's what they're going to ask for. Anytime it comes down to the Miami Heat, we have to give up everything. All these other teams, all these other trades, they don't have to give up anything. maybe one first-round pick, and maybe they swap one or two players. But when it comes to the Miami Heat, we're always being taxed. We're always being held to the highest standard when it comes to trades. Maybe because they don't like the Miami Heat. Maybe they don't like Pat Riley. But once again, Giannis, he's going to be on a big contract, lower body injuries. And also, too, if you're going to give away everything, how are you going to build around Bam and Giannis? How are you going to have a good team? All you're pretty much going to have is a Bucks team in Miami with Giannis and Bam Adebayo. But to me, I'd rather keep my young guys. And like I said, if we get a top 5, top 10 pick, I'm not trading anything. LeBron James joining the Miami Heat, Rich Paul believes that it was a lose-lose situation when he joined. Absolutely, because we're still paying for the sins of the big three of Chris Bosh, D. Wade, and LeBron James. The biggest thing for me is LeBron James ran into guys like the Celtics. They had their own big four. Rondo, Ray Allen, KG, Paul Pierce, a great coach back then in Doc Rivers. Then he ran into the Spurs. Like, you're not going to beat those teams by yourself. You know, I think they did a great job in the regular season. At one point, they were even the number 1 seed. But you're not going to win a championship with Mo Williams and El Gauskas as your best players. When it comes to the Miami Heat, I'll always stand on this. LeBron James should have never have left the Miami Heat. I understand why he went back to Cleveland to win the championship. You're going to win it for your hometown. But he should have never have left the Miami Heat. We would have still been winning championships.